Colorado's highest court has disqualified Donald Trump from the 2024 ballot. His lawyers have signaled they will appeal to the Supreme Court. Jimmy Hoover joins us now. He's a Supreme Court reporter at the National Law Journal. So, Jimmy, between Trump in Colorado and special counsel Jack Smith's request for the court to handle this immunity question, that's a lot of business on the court. Give us a sense of the operational tempo, because I got other cases going on, too. It's a lot of business and a lot of decisions needed in short order.
That's right. And it is supposed to be kind of a quiet time at the court. It's the end of the December session. So we're getting near the holiday season, and the court is not even in session yet until the new year. But as you mentioned, all these very prominent, politically charged cases are piling up at the court and on a super fast timeline. You mentioned special counsel Jack Smith's petition for review to solve the issue of whether Trump has presidential immunity from prosecution related to his efforts to overturn the election. And related to that, obviously, is yesterday's decision by the Colorado Supreme Court disqualifying Trump from being on the ballot. So the Supreme Court doesn't necessarily go out of its way to get involved in major election drama. We saw them steer clear of things in the litigation after the 2020 election, but it doesn't really look like they're going to have that option this go round.
All right, they're getting hot potatoes for the holidays. Let me take the first question, which is Colorado. Is there a way to sort the questions in the Colorado case by the ideological or previous decisions of the sitting justices? I mean, is there just a way we can kind of preliminarily get our heads around how they might break apart those questions related to Colorado?
I think you probably could, but it would be pretty much 100% guesswork. I mean, it is, as the Colorado Supreme Court even said, completely uncharted territory. The Supreme Court hasn't examined this in the context of a president like Donald Trump, who is accused of engaging in an insurrection. So the Supreme Court justices, obviously, there's a 6-3 conservative majority on the court. 3 of whom were appointed by President Trump himself. But there's very little to go on in terms of how the court is going to approach these myriad legal issues bound up in this novel constitutional question. Now, a lot of people think that the Colorado Supreme Court will be reversed. And I think, that's probably as good a guess as any. But again, this is a totally new chapter for the Supreme Court.
So then very quickly, because I got one more after it, Jimmy, the question of immunity, Trump has asked the court to pause its thinking on that question. Are they likely to?
I'm not exactly sure whether they're likely to, but it's certainly the case that the Supreme Court is careening towards this constitutional question, if you will, quagmire, if you will, and it's unclear exactly, what's going to come out the other end of it.
And very quickly, there's going to be the question of whether Justice Thomas should recuse himself because his wife was engaged in texts with White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, and in those texts in which she advocated for challenging the election, she mentioned that she had talked to her best friend, which everybody has assumed was the Associate Justice. How do you read the question of recusal, given all these cases touch on former President Trump?
I don't see a whole lot of evidence that Clarence Thomas is going to recuse from any of the January 6 cases. We saw him recuse back in October to a petition brought by his former clerk, John Eastman, involving a January 6 probe. But of course, that could have been due to the fact that he was a former clerk. Clarence Thomas did not state, "I'm recusing because this is a matter that my wife was heavily involved in trying to overturn the results of the 2020 election." So we saw the Supreme Court earlier say that they were going to quickly consider, for instance, special counsel Jack Smith's petition to solve the immunity issue. But again, we didn't hear anything from Clarence Thomas saying that he's going to be sitting this one out.
Jimmy Hoover with the National Law Journal. Thanks a lot, Jimmy.
Thank you.